This is the next day, and I wanted to let you know what it says about the beast and the woman, which is the Statue of Liberty. The woman is America. She mounts the beast and rides it everywhere, and the mountains that she sits in with the heads, they have a name of blasphemy written on them all. See how that goes together? That's the mountains with all of your dollar bill has this. This is one of the heads right here, and the name of blasphemy is written on there. And God we trust, and God's name doesn't belong on paper like this, because that makes it where everybody has to worship things they have and call it God. And your government, people are calling this God without even realizing it, and that's what's written. And if you love this, then you're not ever welcome in heaven, so you have to change your heart and ways and be invited to the supper table of the Lamb like I was. I know the stuff I do is funny, but it's stupid and dorky, and some of it might even be just plain stupid, but that doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to these things. And no, I'm not the devil or something like that. I'm just a flesh like you, and I'm not perfect, and neither are you. But I'm going somewhere else because I'm changing my life, and when somebody hurts me, I don't hurt them back. Not that I could, but it's the way everybody's living their life because they don't understand what the Bible says. But this doesn't mean that Armageddon's coming tomorrow and that God is going to throw the flesh in the lake fire with the devil, and the flesh is not the devil. The devil isn't within everyone and messes with people. They just don't see it. But they do and don't. They see it so much that they're used to it, I think. But the woman straddles the oceans, the water of life, the oceans with planes and boats, and screws all the other countries, and they screw her back, and that's what that says they fornicated. And there's two dragons. One of them is when America stood on the shore. The other one came out of the land, which was Hitler. And when Hitler lost, he gave all of his power and authority to America because it's the one that helped defeat it. And let's see, what else do you might have questions about? 666 means 6 zeros. You only care about millions of dollars, and you pray to God to win money, a lottery, and He's never listened, and He doesn't know who you are if you do that kind of thing. If you pray, then pray that this earth is made like you would have it done in heaven, and treat everybody else just like you want to be treated. It's just the truth. The flesh is going to be punished, some of it that does not get in, and I don't know how long, and it's none of my business, because I don't want the keys to the abyss. I'd rather have the keys to heaven. So it's up to you. So I wouldn't. If people call you the devil, the flesh the devil, then they're liars and they're false Christ, and they're condemning people and everything. Christ doesn't condemn the flesh, but He does punish them. And in other words, He doesn't even do that, but He leaves them until they paid everything they owe. And I've told you what I think about it. And He can either throw the devil into the middle of the galaxy, which could be considered the abyss, but that's made of neutrinos and neutrons. It's like miles across. It's so dense, but you can't leave it, and time ends there. In other words, it's the beginning and end of time. And the end of time is basically when you leave the galaxy and everything wraps back around like a donut into it, and that's why light looks like it shot through it. And it explains Hawking's radiation and everything, but I'm not going to get too much into all that because it's scientific, and I don't have time to go into all that. But I'm telling you this not because I want other nations to do something to hurt her. They already would if they could anyway, and they can't, because God doesn't give any of you the power to. It's not His will for all of you to do that. It's not even written in the book. And no person on this planet's ever going to end this earth, and the terrorists are not going to go to heaven, period. They're going to be ones that stay here 1,000 years in the dark, gnashing their teeth like this, or like this. No, I'm just being funny again. So you better start loving each other. Christ is just talking to the devil and that's why He didn't need everybody to understand what it meant yet, and now He does, so that people can stop, because this nation is going to hell right now alive because everybody hates everybody, and all everybody cares about is getting to work and back and forth, and what they're going to dress, and what they're going to eat, and what they're going to wear, and don't even have time to think about God. And then they go to church for about an hour or maybe two, whatever, and even get taught lies or nothing at all. Some of them aren't necessarily evil, but they are in a way, because they don't teach anybody anything, and they will touch anybody, even. Well, I'm not going to get into all this, and Christ is in you, and so if you just listen, then maybe you'll hear Him. But he's the life. He's not your emotion. He's not your highs or lows. He's not any of that. He's about more than that. And he's pure and clean. And whenever he leaves, then there's weeping. That's what it means. In the beginning, he was flesh before he was God's son on the earth, because he was with the other flesh before that. He was the life and everything. In the beginning was the Word, and it was good, and it was the truth, and it was God's Spirit. And really, Satan, who is the devil, tried to kill him before time even was founded here. So that's what it means. You can believe everything that's written there, even those 7 days, but those are, believe it or not, some of them, or according to what we measure time by now, with the earth, the sun, and the rotation, and the relativity of it to the speed of the change of an atom or the atomic clock, so that we can say, well, if there's a tomorrow, then it'll be sunny at when my watch says 6 o'clock, whatever, whenever sunrise is. But really, there is no tomorrow. There's only right now, and it's constantly changing, and that is true. There's no before now either. Now is just changing. You can take the memory with you through these changes, and those changes remain constant, and it's still with me right now. But it's hard to explain that, because you always want to say, but before now. I hadn't said this yet. Words that notify that there's a change and it's constant. Another weird thing, some of these don't have anything to do with the religion, but it's neat to think about, and then I gotta hurry up and post it before it gets too long, is that really it takes so long for your brain to figure out everything that's going on, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. Whenever you got burnt and pulled away from that burn, the electric signal goes up your spine to your brain fast, so you can go, ow, I burnt myself. But it takes a lot longer, like maybe even up to 1/10 of a second, for your brain to process it and for you to understand that you just got burnt. So you're on a delayed schedule, believe it or not, and that's why I have it and it's precognition, but it's not like in the movies and stuff. It's not like I'm going to tell you in 2 days there's an earthquake or something. It just means that you get a deja vu constantly, and sometimes you can even utilize it if you're like me and say, oh, somebody's almost here. And it actually is true, because there's a way for the pathways. And people like me, somehow, there's like some kind of a hint or something that resembles something before that already happened. And so the brain jumps, and it doesn't go through certain parts of the medulla and stuff. And so when you get deja vu and it feels like that, it's because that's what's happening to you, and it's not as common with you.